Man, when you think about Hollywood's golden age, there are a few names that just immediately pop up, right? And MGM has gotta be right there at the top of that list. I mean, it's synonymous.
Absolutely, Mark. And I think what always gets me about MGM, beyond the roaring lion at the start of every film, is their slogan. More stars than there are in heaven. I mean, it's so bold, so confident. And it wasn't just a catchy phrase. It was literally their business model, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was. I mean, when you hear that, it's like, wow, they weren't messing around. They truly, truly believed it. And they delivered. I mean, when you look at the sheer caliber of talent they had under contract, it's kind of mind-boggling. Like, they truly dominated that whole star system thing.
Totally. They had this incredible stable of talent, from dramatic actors to musical stars, comedians, you name it. Louis B. Mayer and Irving Thalberg, they built this, what you could call a star factory. They didn't just sign actors, they actually created stars, right? From their look to their public persona, it was all meticulously crafted. It's really fascinating the control they had.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Star Factory is such a perfect way to put it, Nora, because it wasn't just about, finding someone with talent. It was about molding them, giving them that MGM sheen, right? Like making them into something almost larger than life. How did they, what was the secret sauce for that, do you think?
Well, I think a huge part of it was the sheer, luxury and scale of everything at MGM. The sets were lavish, the costumes were exquisite, the cinematography was always top-notch. They spared no expense, really. So when an actor stepped onto an MGM set, they were immediately elevated. And then, behind the scenes, they had publicists, fashion designers, acting coaches, all working to refine that image. They controlled the narrative. Everything from what they wore to what they said in interviews. It was total image management.
Wow. So it was almost like a complete package deal. It wasn't just, here's your script. It was, here's your script, here's your wardrobe, here's how you're going to appear to the public, here's your whole life, essentially. That's intense. But I guess it worked because, I mean, the stars they created they were just phenomenal.
Exactly. They were meticulous. And that's why when you think of the MGM look, it conjures up images of glamour, sophistication, and a certain kind of untouchable elegance. It was all by design, Mark. All by design.
And, talking about those phenomenal stars, it's like you can't talk about MGM without bringing up names like Clark Gable, can you? Or Greta Garbo. I mean, they were just like titans. What made them, or rather, what did MGM do to really elevate them to that status?
Oh my gosh, Mark, yes. Gable, the king of Hollywood, he was the epitome of masculine charm, and MGM built that image. He had this easygoing, rugged charisma, but also a sophisticated edge, often paired with stunning leading ladies like Joan Crawford or Myrna Loy. And then Garbo, the divine Garbo, she was this enigma. MGM cultivated her mystique, kept her somewhat aloof from the public, which just made her even more captivating. They knew exactly how to market her unique, almost ethereal beauty and talent. It was all about creating an aura around them.
Yeah, that's wild. Like, they knew the persona they wanted to build, and they just went all in. And then you had someone like Judy Garland, too, right? Who became this incredible, she just owned the screen, especially in musicals.
Absolutely. Judy Garland, discovered as a child, was meticulously groomed by MGM. She had this incredible raw talent, and they showcased her in musicals like The Wizard of Oz. But the studio's intensity also had its darker side for her, with the immense pressure and control. But for the audience, she was pure magic. MGM really had a knack for matching talent to their brand of spectacle.
So it wasn't just the stars, though, right? It was also, the productions themselves. I mean, you mentioned The Wizard of Oz. That's a prime example of like ultimate MGM grandeur. Was it always that lavish? Was that the signature?
Oh, absolutely. The MGM grandeur was a thing, Mark. Their films were known for their incredibly high production values. They had the biggest sound stages, the most elaborate sets, the most intricate costumes. Think about those opulent musicals, right? Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers, or Gene Kelly and Singing in the Rain. It was all about spectacle, about escapism. They were one of the first studios to really embrace Technicolor, too, making their movies visually stunning and incredibly vibrant. That iconic, rich color palette became synonymous with MGM.
Yeah, I remember like seeing those early Technicolor films and just being blown away by the vibrancy of it all. It just popped off the screen. It felt like well, it really did feel like an experience, not just a movie. They were selling an entire like feeling, weren't they?
Exactly. They wanted to transport you completely, and they had the resources, the talent, and the vision to do it. They practically invented the idea of event filmmaking before it was even a term. Every MGM film was meant to be an event, a grand, unforgettable experience, and for a long time, they totally succeeded.
So they had this incredible run, this golden age where they truly were like kings of Hollywood. What eventually happened though to that immense power? I mean, nothing lasts forever, right? Did the Star Factory just kind of lose its shine?
Yeah, well, like all empires, the golden age of MGM eventually waned. A couple of big things happened. First, the Paramount consent decrees in the late 40s forced studios to sell off their theater chains, which really hurt their integrated business model. They couldn't control distribution anymore. And then, obviously, television started becoming a huge competitor, drawing audiences away from cinemas. People didn't need to leave their homes for entertainment, right? The whole studio system, which was MGM's backbone, started to crumble too. Stars wanted more freedom, more control over their careers.
Right, so like the very system that made them so powerful eventually became its undoing in a way. The strict contracts, the control, it just couldn't hold up in a changing world.
Pretty much. But even with its decline, MGM's legacy is absolutely undeniable. They left behind a catalog of films that are just timeless classics. They set the standard for Hollywood glamour, for spectacle, and for creating larger-than-life stars that people still adore today. Their impact on pop culture, on cinema itself, is just, massive. You still see references to that MGM look or those iconic films everywhere. They truly were a constellation of stars.